Hello, and before we get going, here is my disclaimer. I am not a medical professional and I am not providing therapy or medical treatment. I recommend that anyone experiencing anxiety seek professional help straight away to get a medical opinion and rule out other conditions or illnesses. The comments and opinions on this site and in these videos are based on my own personal experience with OCD and anxiety, and are not to be taken as professional medical opinions. Hello, my name's Robert, as you may have guessed, and welcome to this free mini course for OCD and anxiety. I'm really pleased with this course because I've packed it full of so many skills and techniques that you can start applying to manage your OCD and anxiety in a much better way. I myself struggled with OCD for many years, and I was always searching for the new best thing for how to manage it. And none of these things really worked that well until I came across acceptance commitment therapy, or ACT for short. And this was incredibly helpful. It really was a game changer. And in this short course, I go into a little bit of detail into the three main areas of ACT. I also kind of give you a few more tips and techniques for how to manage your anxiety based on my method for dealing with it. Because although ACT is a big part of how I manage my OCD and anxiety, there are many different areas and things that I work on as well, using breath work, using different mindfulness skills, and all of this together is my approach for how to deal with anxiety in a much better way. Remember though that this is just a short version of the course. In the full version we go into much greater detail in all the videos, and I provide you with PDFs that accompany the videos so you can kind of read through them at your own pace and you can pick out all the information that you really need to take. I also include lots of other resources. I include links to different websites that you might find helpful, and overall I think you'll find that if you follow this video course, it really will have a massive impact on your OCD and anxiety. I wanted to start off by telling you a little bit more about my history with OCD and anxiety. It started for me when I was at college, when I was 17, and I started having these really intrusive thoughts and I didn't really understand them at all. And they were giving me so much anxiety, I didn't know what to do about it. And the only thing I was doing was fighting with them and trying to push them away. And I didn't know it at the time, but paradoxically, when we try to fight with anxiety and push it away, we actually end up making it a lot stronger. And what I found out a few years later, after reading loads about how to manage anxiety in a more healthy way, is that accepting our uncomfortable thoughts and feelings is the way to go. Now, I absolutely hate the word acceptance because we hear it all the time. Hey, just accept your anxiety. And it's so annoying because in reality, how on earth do you accept anxiety? And what I learned is that to accept, what you have to do is focus in on the things that are important to you in your life and do those things despite the anxiety being there. And this is the basis of acceptance commitment therapy, which is one of the main tools that I use to manage anxiety and OCD for myself and for my clients. And it's based on this. You identify the areas of your life that are very important to you, and you make sure that you keep doing those things, even if they scare you. So for example, something that I've done myself recently, because this kind of work is an ongoing thing. You don't suddenly arrive at a place where you're OCD free or whatever. OCD is something that you have to manage in the long run. And if you do a good job of it, then it barely kind of bothers you at all. And that's where I am today. The OCD and anxiety doesn't really come up very much because I've got to a place where I'm able to accept it really well. And whenever it does come up, it doesn't stick around for very long. So what you need to do is to put yourself in a place that you're afraid of. And for me, this was performing improv comedy. I was really, really afraid of doing this. I really didn't want to do it at all. And this wasn't necessarily connected to my OCD, it was more connected in a way to kind of social anxiety. But all of these things do interconnect. And in a way, this is a type of exposure. So what I kind of made myself do was to take a course in improv comedy. So I had to go for 2 hours a week to do the workshop course. And after 12 weeks of doing that, we had to perform at a local theatre in front of about 60 people. And it was absolutely terrifying. I didn't want to do it at all. But I made myself do it because I knew if I could kind of overcome this, the boost in self-confidence would be so worth it. And I was terrified for the entire day beforehand. But as soon as I got on the stage, something really interesting happened. For the first 10 seconds, my heart was thumping, my hands were clammy, and I wanted to get out of there as soon as I could. But I made myself stay. And as soon as I started performing, I started to notice that actually I could focus in on what I was doing and allow that anxiety to be there. And the more that the performance went on, the more confident I felt and the less anxiety I was feeling. And by the end, when the audience were kind of clapping a lot, I felt so good. And you can apply this to so many different areas of life. It really is incredible. To get to a place though where I was comfortable with doing this, I had to do so much work beforehand. And that is what this video course is based on.
Meet Bernie. He was a happy guy until he started having intrusive thoughts. Bernie was always fighting with these thoughts and didn't realise that this was actually making them worse. He ended up feeling so bad that he had to go and see his doctor. Oh, Bernie. This helped him a lot, but he still wanted to do more. And then one day he came across the Robert James Coaching free mini-course. Could this be the key for what he'd been looking for?